Okay, so this is part two of Peter and the Rabbi talking. If you missed part one, I'll put it in the description below. But with that being said, let's get into it.
The jugular.
Do it.
The relationship between husbands and wives has become pornography.
Mine hasn't.
It's become what is pornography means objectified.
Okay.
It's a performance. You're supposed to achieve a certain degree of satisfaction or pleasure. Some people are really good at it. Some people are not good at it, and they need coaching and counseling and pills and toys, and it's pornography. Here's the difference between intimacy and just sex.
Okay.
Intimacy is about us. Sex is about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree when it comes into the like realm of sex. There's a lot of people who, use a lot of gadgets and gizmos and need to be on a certain substance to either enjoy it or climax or this and that. Um, and the us versus the it. Yeah, I guess I can see what he's saying. Intimacy is maybe like if it's just us, then it's trying to become one versus sex being an it. You're trying to get to a goal of some sort.
So after a couple have been intimate, and the husband, for example, says, "How was it?" See, that's pornography.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, at that point, the sex has now become a goal or like a goal oriented thing in order to see if she climaxed, if he climaxed, if they both climaxed, if this and that.
How was it? There was just us.
Because it became objectified somehow?
It became an objective,
Okay.
a performance, and something other than us. It's almost like a triangle. There were three of us in the bedroom. There was me, you, and it.
What's a better way to phrase it?
Intimacy means two people merging with each other. There's no it.
Becoming one?
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I just said there. So if you're looking at intimacy as us versus sex as an it, then yeah, it's the intimacy part doesn't have like a goal in terms of like how sex does. Intimacy would just be you two in excuse me, you two enjoying each other's presence, company, whatever you two are both doing, and feeling like you are together as one. Okay.
What if by coming together, they both accelerate, but they're still separate, or you think they come together as one unit? How's that possible?
They become one where they become literally inseparable. They can't imagine being without each other.
Yeah.
But then again, they're two people in everyday life.
Don't you think there are basic tenets like respect and trust?
Oh yeah.
That has to be very solid. And until you have that, you can't build anything.
Yes. The attitude that once we are in love and we get married, then we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of couples that have that kind of sentiment where they think once marriage happens, they've kind of hit the goal line and like now it's smooth sailing. They can just coast. They don't have to do anything. There's no quote unquote like work that needs to be put into it, which I think is a poor way of looking at it. You've achieved something or you've achieved something or accomplished something in that aspect of getting married, but you got to still work at keeping it, you know, lively and meaningful and together, as he said, as a unit, as a solid unit, right? the two people have to be working towards the same goal as one unit. And I think that's true whether it's like parenting or your relationship or whatever.
Our relationship is indestructible.
Mm.
So I can be at my worst, my sloppiest, my ugliest, and it's all going to be fine. Well, no, it's not.
Now, in regards to the previous sentiment about the intimacy, is he trying to say that every time must be an intimate time? Say for some reason you just feel like having sex that one time, or once a month you just decide, let's just get a little crazy or something. Is that frowned upon? Yeah.
In fact, with your spouse, you've got to be better than you are with a stranger. So with a stranger, you're careful what you say, and you're considerate, and with your spouse, you say whatever comes to mind, and what are you doing? So yes, respect is a lost art.
Even in your community, that's
to some degree.
Look, I see a lot of your communities held on pre-60s to a lot of the values, let's say, right?
In some cases, it's just reaching us now.
60s are,
yeah,
are
the
coming
60s are happening. It's it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
But you hear couples the way they talk to each other, and it's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Because the guy is a nice guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Is he treating his wife like a dog?
Yeah.
How does this happen?
Yeah.
One of the causes, too familiar. Familiarity breeds contempt.
So how do you look if you're with someone all the time, every day? How does it not become familiar?
That is a good question. Because in most relationships that aren't, like, say, a Jewish relationship, you wouldn't have that division where you're, maybe with the men all day long, or the women are with the women or at home. I certainly don't go out and do things typically without my wife. And then we are at home and we're together all the time. And as somebody said, like, distance makes the heart grow fonder. I can see the value in that, but I don't know if I really want to have to, like, be separated just to feel like I want to be with you. Well, not feel like I want to be with you, but have that passion, I guess, reignited that way. But I guess the passion can't always be there, so maybe you need to take. Interesting.
That's the art. Naturally, if you're careless and let it go, you'll become too familiar, and it's gonna turn nasty. Nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some strategies to keep it from that?
Okay.
What do you teach your?
I grew up here in this house.
Okay.
Right? My parents lived upstairs. But a little exaggeration, but not much, right? We never heard our mother's name, first name, because we don't call our parents by their first name.
Mm-hmm.
And my father hardly ever called my mother, because when he needed to talk to her, he would go to where she was. There was no screaming across the house. Like, where are you? Come here. You don't talk to each other like that.
Okay.
So when I hear this, it like shocks me. That's how you talk to your wife? It's so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so vulgar. With a relationship that has to last for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I mean, some people would say, as to play like a devil's advocate, I guess maybe some people are just doing that for convenience. Maybe there's no ill will or ill intentions behind that, Obviously, maybe the way you're saying it or the tone in your voice or this and that could lend to that, but uh yeah, I don't know, maybe to me I wouldn't think most people go that deep into it. But I understand what he's saying, but I just don't think most people are thinking that way. Like, obviously, their goal is not to disrespect their wives or their husbands, but maybe they don't think that doing that is a form of it.
Take good care of it. Be
Don't.
careful.
So don't do that, obviously. Like that's a no-go.
So there's
Following-
a tone
Okay.
that is appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a tone that is completely inappropriate.
So it's work.
It's respect. If that's work, you're in trouble.
No, what I'm saying, if you're yelling for your wife
Yeah.
across the other side of the house, it takes a little bit more work to go walk. It's not really work, but you
No.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's lazy to yell across. It
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
a little work to go and make things better.
Yeah, it's putting in the effort versus not putting in the effort, because you know, probably within your house it's not going to be hard to find your own wife if you just took a little bit of time looking for her, but obviously for convenience or whatnot, you just yell at her and you wait for her to reply, and then you kind of know exactly where she is, or you don't then have to walk there. I get that, yeah.
Okay. So do you think a lot of it has to do with people just become lazy and complacent in their lives?
They lose respect.
Okay.
Because the familiarity will do that if you don't protect it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the objectification.
Sure.
A guy says to me, I love everything about my wife. I said, interesting. Your wife wants a divorce. So what gives?
Right.
Does he love everything about his wife?
No.
Probably not. But even if he did, there's something wrong in his entire approach. He loves everything about her. He doesn't need her. So again, it's things. He loves this about her, he loves that about her. So it's this and that. It's not her.
He likes things that make him happy or feed his ego, right?
What he's getting from her.
Right.
And it could be very noble things. You know, she brings out the best in me. She makes me a better person. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all back to you, what she does for you and your ego. Okay.
But is that her? So I asked this guy. I said, you love everything about your wife? Yeah. Do you love her? He said, I told you I love everything about her. I said, no, not about her. Her. He says, I don't know what that means. And here's the kicker. If that's how they're living,
Mm-hmm.
and they're happily married, he loves everything about her, she loves everything about him.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, they each feel alone in the world. And that's the dangerous part. That feeling of aloneness, it's literally dangerous.
Yeah, when two people are together and they say that they love each other and they love everything about each other, but then in that same breath, they each feel disconnected or alone. I hear this a lot with my friends, with my female friends, how a lot of them aren't, some of them just don't feel that connection with their husbands anymore. But they would rather try to make it work than start over, or make it work rather than get divorced, or but they're obviously not happy. And yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
You think it's a big problem?
It's a huge problem.
What about the Hasidic community? I know statistics, I don't know the exact number, but roughly 50% of Americans get divorced, right? Married couples get divorced? Something like that. What about in the Hasidic community?
Much lower.
20?
unfortunately, there is a statistic which shouldn't even exist. It should be so rare because marriage is a fantastic institution.
Mm-hmm.
We can't live without it.
Now, I did ask this question in the comments. I forget which video it was or what we were talking about, but this came up because I said, statistically, if divorce is at such a high rate, and the Jewish community does have a much lower rate than the general population does, or like, where is that due to your religious beliefs and your teachings that are making you, that are skewing the numbers in a sense, or the percentages? Because I know you guys do a lot of the research, and but you marry very young, and people, I feel like, can change as they get older. And yes, I know maybe you might like another girl or the way she looks, or another guy the way he looks, and that's not really what your goal is, to just be with somebody that looks good. That's why you do the research to see if your values match up. But then that's my question, is that, do you think then the numbers are so low because of this structure that has been built? Because I think I heard, like, unless you're maybe being physically abused or something like that, typically you don't ever get divorced. Like, if you just have a spat or you have an issue with your husband or whatever, you go to a rabbi or you go to like a therapist and you try to work it out, but you keep the marriage together. Whereas most people these days, yeah, I guess I could see that they kind of just throw it to the wayside. They're like, I'm done with this. I can get another relationship and this and that. It's a very interesting subject.
We can't be a society without it. And we can't get rid of that aloneness without it. It's the only cure.
You guys have that figured out quite well, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
The aloneness problem. I don't see much aloneness going on in these streets.
Right. But it's a very deep and profound need.
Mm-hmm.
You can have tons of friends and you're all alone in the world, which is what's happening to Americans.
Yeah, we have some of the highest males as well as females, I guess, alone, but majority males currently. A lot more males are just single and alone. Even if they have lots of friends, but they don't have that special someone that,
We're very outgoing, we're very friendly, we're cosmopolitan, we've been everywhere, even the Ukraine. But you come home and it's just me. In England, they actually started a department in the Ministry of Health. They opened a special department to deal with the crisis of loneliness. Because when you feel alone in the world, your immune system crashes.
That's a good thing. Like
Right,
like millions of hits.
Maybe I'll ask off camera then.
Yeah.
This sensitive topic. But tell me if you don't want me to post it. That's
Why?
fine.
I wonder if I should pause it here. Okay, you know what? I'll go till 20 minutes and then I'll pause this one. I'll break it up into 3 parts, I think.
Look, in Hasidim, all this cameras, internet, whatever, is a distraction from the void, from God, right?
Not if you use it properly. It's a wonderful tool.
The internet's a wonderful tool. YouTube, Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Are you on Instagram?
I think so. On YouTube, everywhere, I think. Maybe not TikTok.
Not that, yeah, me neither. That looks annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's walk through it. Let's walk through a case study because I'm sort of getting what you're doing. I'm understanding your thought process of this. But if a couple, how does it work?
Okay, so let's stop it there before he gets into his case study. Um, Again, if there's anything that you disagree with me, agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys on the next part.